The philosophy of choosing yourself in. Picture this. What if the greatest love story of your life isn't about finding someone to complete you, but about becoming the unshakable foundation of your own existence? What if the truest act of love isn't losing yourself in another person, but standing fiercely in your own truth, unapologetically, like the masterpiece you were born to be? This isn't just another script about romance or heartbreak, it's a call to awaken to your own worth. If you've ever dimmed your light to feel loved, or sacrificed your dreams to keep someone close, this is your moment. Stay with me, because we're diving deep into the philosophy of choosing yourself in love, and why it's the most transformative decision you'll ever make. Love is one of the most powerful forces we experience. It can heal wounds, ignite dreams, and push us to become better versions of ourselves. But in the pursuit of loving someone else, we often lose sight of the most important love of all, the love we owe ourselves. We pour our energy into others, prioritizing their needs, making sacrifices, and sometimes fading into the background of our own lives. This isn't about being selfish or turning away from connection. It's about reclaiming your identity, your dignity, and your purpose. Let's explore why choosing yourself isn't just an act of self-respect. It's the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship you'll ever have. The myth of losing yourself in love. We've been fed a dangerous myth about love. From Hollywood romances to chart-topping ballads, we're told that love means surrender, giving up pieces of ourselves to fit into someone else's world. We're conditioned to believe that to love deeply is to dissolve, to become less so someone else can feel more. But let me ask you a question. What's romantic about erasing who you are? There's nothing noble about shrinking your soul to make someone else comfortable. True love doesn't demand your disappearance, it celebrates your presence. Before you ever fell in love, you were someone whole. You had passions that set your heart ablaze, dreams that fueled your late-night thoughts, and a spirit that moved through the world with its own unique rhythm. That person still exists, even if they've been buried under layers of compromise or quieted by the need to please. That person deserves to be seen, heard, and cherished, not just by others, but by you. When you lose yourself in love, you don't just risk your heart, you risk your entire being. You risk giving away the essence of who you are, and that's a price no relationship should ever demand. This myth is seductive because it feels intoxicating at first. We think this is what love is supposed to be: consuming, overwhelming, all-encompassing. But when you start silencing your voice, hiding your truth, or bending your values just to keep the peace, you're not in love, you're in survival mode. You're teaching others that your needs are negotiable, that your worth is optional, and that's a lesson that can take years to unlearn. The danger of losing yourself is that it happens slowly, almost imperceptibly. It starts with small concessions, skipping a hobby you love to spend more time with them, or biting your tongue to avoid an argument. Over time, those concessions stack up, and one day you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. Choosing yourself means interrupting that cycle. It means recognizing that you are not half of a whole waiting to be completed. You are whole, right now, as you are, The right kind of love doesn't ask you to shrink, it invites you to expand, to bring your full, radiant self to the table. It's a partnership, not a sacrifice. When you hold fast to your identity, you create space for a love that's rooted in mutual respect, not dependency or control. The power of self-worth. At the heart of choosing yourself lies a quiet, unshakable belief in your own value. Self-worth isn't about being loud or boastful, it's a steady, internal knowing that you are enough, with or without someone's approval. It's the courage to walk into a room and own your space, not because you're seeking validation, but because you already believe in your brilliance. Self-worth is the foundation upon which every healthy relationship is built, because it sets the standard for how others treat you. When you cultivate self-worth, you stop accepting scraps of affection when you deserve a feast. You stop chasing people who can't see your light and start attracting those who are drawn to your radiance. This isn't arrogance, it's clarity. It's understanding that love should never require you to dim your shine to make someone else feel secure. It's knowing that you can love someone deeply while still prioritizing your own voice, your own dreams, your own growth. Building self-worth starts with small, intentional acts of self-love. It's saying no when something doesn't align with your values, even if it risks disappointing someone. It's carving out time for the things that make your soul come alive, whether that's painting, writing, running, or simply sitting in silence with your thoughts. It's looking in the mirror and choosing to embrace every part of yourself, the strengths, the flaws, the complexities. When you love yourself fully, you create boundaries that protect your peace. You teach others how to love you by the way you love yourself. But let's be honest, choosing yourself can feel daunting, especially in a world that often equates self-worth with external validation. You might worry that setting boundaries will push people away. You might wonder if you're asking for too much, or if you're being too difficult. Here's the truth. The people who truly belong in your life will never ask you to shrink. They'll celebrate your fire, your ambition, your unapologetic truth. They'll see your boundaries as a sign of strength, not a threat. And if someone walks away because you refuse to lose yourself, let them go. That's not your loss, it's theirs. The right people will admire your strength and rise to meet you where you stand. Self-worth also means redefining what love looks like. It's not about grand gestures or constant reassurance, it's about consistency, respect, and reciprocity. When you know your value, you stop tolerating inconsistency or half-hearted effort. You stop making excuses for people who don't show up fully. You start demanding a love that feels safe, not stressful, a love that encourages growth, not guessing games. This shift in perspective is powerful because it puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. You're no longer waiting to be chosen, you're choosing yourself every single day. Redefining compromise in relationships. Compromise is often celebrated as the glue that holds relationships together. And there's truth to that. No relationship can thrive without a willingness to meet in the middle, to make adjustments for the sake of harmony. But there's a fine line between healthy compromise and self-abandonment. And too many of us cross that line without realizing it. When you're the only one bending, the only one sacrificing, you're not compromising, you're disappearing. Healthy compromise is mutual and balanced. It's the whole people choosing to build something together without losing who they are. It's rooted in respect, not resentment. For example, compromise might mean agreeing on where to spend the holidays or finding a way to balance your career goals with your partner's. But it should never mean silencing your voice, abandoning your dreams, or changing your core values. Just to keep the peace, if you find yourself constantly apologizing for your needs, editing your personality, or giving up what matters most to you, that's not love, it's a performance. You're not here to fit into someone else's mold. You're here to stand in your truth. One of the biggest red flags in a relationship is when compromise becomes one-sided. If you're always the one adjusting, always the one saying it's fine when it's not, you're teaching your partner that your needs don't matter. Over time, this creates an imbalance that breeds resentment. Real compromise doesn't mean sacrificing your identity. It means finding a way to honor both people's needs. It's knowing that you can love someone deeply and still say, "This doesn't work for me." It's understanding that your needs are not optional, they're essential. If you're in a relationship where you feel like you're constantly shrinking, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I still the person I want to be in this love? Do I feel seen, heard, and valued? If the answer is no, it's time to make a change. This doesn't always mean leaving the relationship. It might mean having an honest conversation, setting new boundaries, or rediscovering parts of yourself you've neglected. But whatever the path, staying true to yourself is non-negotiable. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you love someone less. It means you love yourself enough to protect your spirit. That kind of integrity is rare, and it's beautiful. The freedom of owning your identity. There's a profound freedom that comes from knowing who you are and refusing to apologize for it. When you own your identity, you stop chasing love and start attracting it. You stop waiting for permission to exist fully and start living with purpose. Your presence becomes magnetic, not because you're trying to please everyone, but because you're fiercely, unapologetically yourself. Your identity is not a byproduct of your relationships. It's the foundation you build everything else upon. It's the dreams you carry, the values you hold, the passions that light you up. It's the way you laugh without holding back, the way you speak your mind even when your voice shakes, the way you move through the world with a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. When you anchor yourself in your truth, you become unshakable. Rejection doesn't break you, because your worth isn't tied to someone else's approval. Love becomes a choice, not a lifeline. Owning your identity means taking responsibility for your own joy. It's building a life filled with purpose, people, and passions that nourish your soul. Whether you're single or partnered, it's knowing that love can enhance your life, but it's not the only source of meaning. When you create a world that feels like yours, you stop clinging to relationships out of fear. You choose them out of strength, because they align with who you are and where you're going. This freedom also means embracing solitude as a gift, not a punishment. Solitude is where you meet the most powerful version of yourself, the one who isn't defined by external validation. In those quiet moments, you learn to trust your voice, honor your needs, and carry your worth like armor. When you're full of your own purpose, you stop feeling lonely. Even when you're alone, you become a force, radiating a confidence that draws in people who are secure enough to love without control, and repels those who thrive on your insecurity. The courage to choose yourself. Choosing yourself takes courage. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to walk away from what no longer serves you. It's choosing peace over chaos, truth over comfort, and dignity over desperation. It's knowing that you were born worthy, and no one's presence or absence can change that. This courage shows up in everyday moments, saying no to a relationship that dims your light, pursuing a goal that scares you, or simply refusing to apologize for who you are. The world will try to convince you that your value lies in how much you're loved, how often you're chosen, or how loudly you're celebrated. But your worth doesn't come from external validation, it starts within. It's in the way you show up for yourself, even when no one else does. It's in the boundaries you set, the dreams you chase, and the truth you speak, even when it's hard. When you choose yourself, you rewrite your story. You stop waiting to be saved and start saving yourself. You stop begging for love and start giving it freely, from a place of abundance. The most revolutionary act you can commit is to love yourself with the same intensity you give to others, to stand tall in your truth, to wear your worth like royalty, and to never settle for less than what makes your soul feel alive. You don't need a crown to be a queen, you just need to own the fact that you've always been one. This belief isn't just healing, it's transformative. It shifts the way you move through the world, the way you love, and the way you allow yourself to be loved. So here's your call to action. Stop shrinking for love. Stop compromising your brilliance to fit into someone else's world. Choose yourself every single day with courage and grace. Build a life that feels like yours, filled with purpose, passion, and unapologetic truth. And when love comes, let it meet you where you stand, whole, radiant, and fiercely you. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the philosophy of living boldly. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and never forget you are enough.